Hello everyone and welcome to the panel about alternatives to the traditional publishing path. Before we start, could each of you talk a bit about yourselves and introduce your books and projects? Dahlia?
Sure, so I go first?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Dahlia Adler. I am the author of 3 young adult books, Behind the Scenes, Under the Lights, and Just Visiting, and those are all published by Spencer Hill Press, or Spencer Hill Contemporary, which is an imprint of Spencer Hill Press. And then I am also the author of 3 new adult novels, which I self-published, Last Will and Testament, Right of First Refusal, and Out on Good Behavior, which just came out on Tuesday. So I've done the small press thing and the self-published thing so far, and I also have a short story coming out in an anthology with Candlewick in 2018 sometime, so that'll be my slightly bigger house experience, though. Anthology, so that's a little different.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, Millie. Go, Millie.
I don't know. You can go if you want.
Too late, Millie.
Hi, I'm Mildred Louis. I am the creator of the webcomic series Agents of the Realm. You can check it out at agentsoftherealm.com, and it is a college-age magical girl webcomic series.
Yay! Okay, now I'm the person who interrupts everyone. Hi, I'm Tamika Stutz. I am the writer of Full Circle, Love and Sprockets, Deja Brew. I am the editor of the Beyond Anthology, Elements Anthology, and also currently editing a comic for Image Comics called Afar. I also am an editor on board the new Mary's Monster project, which is a imprint from Hiveworks.
Oh.
Hi guys, my name is Wendy Shu.
Lots of cool stuff.
I write, or I don't write, no, I draw the webcomics, which I also print and sell as like individual issues. I'm also the writer and artist of the zine Pigeon Boyfriend.
My favorite!
He started off as like a series of little comics on Twitter, and then he became a thing. I don't know why, but and I also my current project with a bigger house is a piece in a feminist anthology coming out next spring from Algonquin. So yay!
I'm so excited for that one.
Yay!
Yay!
Dahlia has spoken a bit that she has self-published and published with indie publishers, but the rest of you, why do you say you've taken an alternative path to publishing? Mildred?
Because somebody tells me that my books are a risk.
Yeah.
I'm the most impatient person on the planet, so there's kind of an instant. It's not really instant gratification, but it's faster than waiting on contracts from like working with a press to do a webcomic. Although like both have benefits and disadvantages, but yeah.
Mildred?
Yeah, for me it's just I like having the ability to like tell the stories I want to tell and not have to worry about someone being like, no one wants to read this.
It's kind of like, how many women of color can you name currently in the industry who create queer comics or coming out from big name publishers? Oh, there's none! What?
Yeah.
What are you telling me? Holy crap, that's insane. Why are there none? I don't know. Maybe because they don't hire us.
Yeah.
Yep. According to your particular experiences, what would you say are the pros and cons of smaller publishers, self-publishing, or even Kickstarter campaigns?
You get to keep most of the money. I'm just gonna hold it.
I'm sold out of books. I'm sorry. I want a Lambda. So, I think one of the hardest things that I'm doing right now is figuring out not only reprint schedule on top of about to kickstart another book project, but it's meeting the demands now that are kind of being created by the people who obviously want their queer comics.
Dahlia, do you want to say something?
Definitely the freedom to publish things that other people won't is a really big deal. FF romance is not something that traditional publishers are taking whole lots of chances on. So if you want to see stories that have girls in love and happy endings and sex on the page, you are pretty largely going to have to turn to people who are doing those stories for themselves or with more adventurous indie publishers. And that's what happened with me. I don't think anybody else would have taken Under the Lights. So being able to do that through my small publisher was great. And for self-publishing for sure. And also just doing new adult, which I believe in. Like, I know it's totally failed as far as the industry is concerned, but like, I really believe that there is a place for college set and college age stories.
Miller's doing it!
And the industry just didn't know what to do with it.
Wait a second. So the industry named new adult as our college fiction.
Yeah. Sort of.
Hey guys, first you were a young adult, then you're a teen adult, but now you're a new adult.
Yes, correct. And then self-publishers were making a ton of money off it.
Yeah.
And they had to, like, you had to do it yourself. Like, that was the very first thing I queried was, like, this college set, like, fight the white sorority system in the South series, and it was set in college, and every agent was like, I can't do anything with this because it's set in college. I was like, okay, now I know you can't sell those kind of books. But then other people started self-publishing them and were doing great. And then traditional publishing was like, oh, hold on, money. And so
Well,
they
that's kind of
started
the issue we're
buying
having right
books
now in
like
comics.
that were already successful and publishing them and then kind of doing it poorly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like traditional publishing a lot of times, like I read some sales sheets where it just insanely angered me because the book itself, I was like into, but the cover art and the way it was being sold to me just didn't jive with like the cover art, and I was like, why? Like you could have done a way better job with this, and it just felt like they were really ignorant of the market they were trying to sell to.
That's so. I feel like that's
cover
so
art's
weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, there was
See
one
it
book.
not with queer anywhere in the cover concept, in the copy on the cover. And so like one of the things I really prioritize as a blogger is trying to find out books that are under the gator. Like they're not telling you, by the way, girls totally make out all over this book, but they do. So I like to find those and be like, by the way, world, you didn't know about this one, but
No, it's really true. It's true.
Yeah.
I got a book to Blur to like review, and I was like, this seems really cool. It has like an Asian girl on the cover, but then I didn't realize I was like, it's about lesbians. I was like, yeah. It was like the perfect surprise. But I was also like, why didn't they say this on the copy on the back?
yeah, but they often don't. And
Yeah.
like it's not fun to think about why.
Yeah.
They clearly just think it's going to find a wider audience, and then you'll be like, surprise gay.
Yeah.
Fall in love.
Which, like, surprise gay
Can't
is
fall
really
in
fun
lesbian.
to find, but it's sort of, like, lousy that that's how it has to be. So I like the freedom to be, going back to what's so great about small press and self-publishing is, like, never having felt pushed into that. Like, we were open about everything as much as possible in my cover copy and on my covers. My cover is, like, girls kissing in a sea of books where the signifier for a queer book, if it even gets one, is girls holding hands. So
Yes.
I got my cute
Yeah.
girl kissing covers because alternative publishing path, and that's one of the really great things that I've gotten from it.
Yeah, so I did, like, immediately out of college, I got an offer to sign with a lit agent to sell a graphic novel, and I signed with her. I was like super excited. It was the first, like, offer I'd ever gotten, but then I worked on this graphic novel for the better part of like 2-3 years, and then it didn't work out with the agent, and I just felt so frustrated because I was like, well, like, you know, all of my work just kind of disappeared, and then I decided, like, fuck it, I'm just going to publish my things myself, unless a foolproof, like, guarantee thing comes along. That is what I will do.
What do you think
It's
people
cool the
should?
power we have now and the stuff there is to be able to take it into your own hands. You know, that wasn't a thing a few years ago, but now it's like, hell yeah.
Speaking of, what do you think people should know or consider before making their decision regarding a potential alternative path?
Know your numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Become
sure.
experienced with math very quickly. Learn an Excel spreadsheet. Enjoy the small undertakings of what it really means to put a book together. Like everything from knowing that you do need to pay your cover artist, sweetie. Knowing that you should look into, if you're doing a comic, you know, or a prose book, that you do need an editor, sweetie. That you probably also should look into a pre-press production technician as far as like doing the layout for the book or doing the layout for the comic book, which have you. There are other small, very unsung heroes that go into the production of making a book who should be completely paid for what they do and also appreciated for how they make books as badass as the ones you want to hold in your hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say look in, like, shop around for printers and see who comes highly recommended in the industry. Shout out to Ken from Kenneth.
Yay, Ken!
Ken is just rocking it. Like, he's so great. But yeah, like, I found Ken through a friend, and like that was really important. 'Cause he could vouch for the-
Yeah, I mean that's really important. I spend a lot of time shopping for printers. I don't even want to get into my printer situation, but one thing I would say though is be realistic about your expectations. Especially if you're going like the Kickstarter route. I think a lot of people they see these Kickstarters that are doing like 8-figure numbers, like, and they're expecting that's what they're gonna do, and they try and set these insane goals of like all this merch and stuff that they want to do to get people in, and they don't end up funding because it's just not as focused. So it's just like, just keep it simple. It's like if it's your first Kickstarter especially, there's no reason to like come out completely guns blazing. Like people are just going to be really interested in just getting the book. That is the main priority, and that's what it should be.
Oh yeah, and do yourself a favor, do not say you're going to sign every book. In the off chance that you get more than 100 people who would like a copy of your book, your hand will be in cramp hell if you decide to sign every last book.
Aww.
It's just terrible. Do not do it.
That's rough. I would say for books, similar kinds of vein, but there is a lot. If you have the time and technological skill, I don't. So I still pay people for everything, for cover design. I always think you should pay for editing, formatting. But like formatting, something that a lot of people who, once they realized they were going to self-publish a lot, took the time to learn how to do themselves. And I think that's the kind of thing, depending on how much money that you want to put out for books when you're starting. You know, especially if saving costs is an important thing for you, it's good to learn what you're going to use a lot and you know, whether it's learning how to make your own teaser graphs or, you know, make your own blogger connections so that you aren't paying for publicity or learning how to format yourself. It can be really worth investing in learning one or two of those things yourself if you're going to self-publish a lot, I would say is a big thing. And also be really careful of comparing yourself to people who have everything done for them. It's a really dangerous pit to fall into. And it's really important to remember that like your numbers are not going to look like somebody who has like Simon & Schuster distribution and is getting their books into Target. It's just not. you have to like own the alternative steps that you're taking and be proud of what you're doing and feel good about it. And really, really, really not play the comparison game because you are not going to like how it feels. It's a big lesson.
Besides buying the books, what can people do to support projects like this?
Support on Patreon.
Yeah.
A lot of webcomics folks, especially, and also a lot of increasingly, and a lot of writers are getting Patreon pages, and it's, for those who don't know, like a monthly donation system, where you pledge like $1 a month, $3 a month. You might think that's not a lot, but it really, really helps. Like in the long run, it's every dollar you can give counts.
Spreading the word. If you like something, talk about it. Like so many, like we indie creators, like it's so dependent on word of mouth. That's just how we end up getting all our stuff done, because we don't have these super crazy skilled publicists who can just like have our stuff plastered everywhere. So if you like something, talk about it, tell your friends, and then they'll tell their friends, and it'll just keep spreading and paying it forward.
Or do what I do, which is do everything. Depend on your friends, because they're there for you, and I like to showcase people as much as they love to showcase me. Like, it's a circle of love, and in the end, I don't need them to showcase me also as well. Like, I just like to share the love. If I'm excited about something or interested, it's because it's genuine, and that's how I feel about it. So I'm going to obviously want to see other people possibly feel just excited, so I'm not just that lonely loser on AO3 trying to find my fan fiction needs. But still, that is kind of a really great way to go through it. Also, become friends with people who review books, just saying. They're on Twitter too. They also are pretty active and awesome. Make mentions to them. Send them copies of your book. Get a press release together. Send that to the contact information on specific websites, especially if you're trying to put it down to like one type of audience or one type of genre. Go to that one type of audience or genre and make it known that you have something that's out and available for them to digest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like self-publishing, it's a profession, so you should treat it as like seriously as you would any other profession.
Yeah.
Be professional, be kind.
Have you seen alternative projects getting more attention from the mainstream media throughout the years?
It's growing. I wouldn't say it gets a lot of attention, but it's definitely growing. I mean, there are certain mainstream media points that have crews dedicated to just following things like Kickstarters or Indiegogos or Patreons, things of that kind of self-funding manner. And it's growing, but I wouldn't say we're still like top label news or anything. It's kind of buried a little bit back there, and it definitely doesn't make the front page of a website. It's usually used as clickbait for whatever reason they can kind of come up with, and that's usually how it makes its way into the mainstream news.
And I will say that at review journals, I know School Library Journal has been putting in a great effort to feature like webcomics artists on their site and on their in their journal itself, and I know that those folks, they definitely make an effort to work with indie publishers, both great and small, like lots of indie publishers getting into review journals these days.
Yeah, it's been nice having trade publishers actually cover my stuff. It's a big deal. And I was just talking about the ripped bodice makes such a difference for self-published romance authors because they carry us, and that's really cool. For anybody who's not familiar, it's a new bookstore that actually got started through Kickstarter, and it's in LA, and I think it's like the world's only, or the country's only, all romance bookstore. And they really actively seek out self-published books to carry, and that's an awesome new legitimacy thing that I like haven't seen on a scale like that. That I think is really cool and have found particularly uplifting lately, especially because they have a huge Pride section.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
it seems a bit more like, I feel like it kind of feels like it's getting more mainstream, we're getting more mainstream access, but I think that's a lot because smaller people are like really they're like really growing, and they're trying to really use their platform to get the word out there, so it feels a bit more like it's getting out there, but I wouldn't say I don't think it's quite permeated mainstream audiences and media yet.
Are there other creators or projects you'd like to talk about, self-published or from small presses, or even Kickstarter? I know someone has a Kickstarter starting soon. Did we lose Tanika?
No, I'm right here.
Oh.
Just reading important news.
You guys should follow Trungles and give money to his Patreon, because he's doing some of the most beautiful work I've ever seen these days. And Trung has a comic starting called The Magic Fish, and it's Patreon only, and it's so beautiful. So you should go and give him money and read that.
I think Patreon is more common among comic artists actually than writers. Not a lot of writers use it, but they should probably, because it's a great way.
I'm seeing it start. I think it's going to become bigger with writers, because I think writers were they've been like playing around with what to do. So there have been people kickstarting and that not going so well, or like Indiegogo, and then that like Ko-fi thing where it's like you can give a couple bucks at a time. I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong, but I think now this is what I think creatives across the board are probably gonna end up going toward Patreon. It's a cool system, but like it's totally new to me. Like I only heard about it in the last couple of months, where I guess among comic artists it's been much longer.
I think it started among comic writers and YouTube creators, actually, no?
Yes. Because the creator Jack Kant, who is a YouTuber extraordinaire, put it together. And comic creators kind of had like this, we don't really want to do this kind of stance. And then one person did it and made a really nice, significant amount of money, and then everyone was like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got a Patreon. Other websites tried to follow. Tapastic, I know, tried to do a similar creator pay scale for their version of the website. It unfortunately did not work out, and they subsequently dropped it. But Patreon is kind of here, and it's, regardless of its bugs, it's here to stay for right now. We're really appreciative of that, because it is opening up another doorway for what used to exist in the good olden times of patrons who would take artists that they loved and would set them up in really fancy-ass places and would feed and clothe them and sometimes bathe them in weird situations. But, some of those processes this time and just go straight to the, here's that thing for you, and you paid me for it, thanks.
I think also Gumroad is a great way to sell your indie comics. I have my pigeon zine on Gumroad. Anyone wants to buy that? Gumroad is so easy, and it has great features like stats tracking, where it shows you like how many sales you get from Twitter, Tumblr, to see like which social media platform is generating the most sales for you. Like that's been fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I use Gumroad. That's what the Beyond site is actually. The Beyond Press website is based off of for our sales in stores. It's pretty much my favorite go-to right now, other than Shopify, which a lot of people seem to trend towards. I like Gumroad a lot, and I know what they went through to get to where they are. So, super support for Gumroad. They are indie as far as like commerce apps are concerned.
Maybe you should check it out. Yeah, I'm using Shopify too right now, and I like it a lot. But so many people are using Gumroad, and I'm like, I'm so curious. Definitely have to check it out.
Try it out, Mildred. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, it's the first place I've put my stuff up for sale, and I'm really happy so far. Like, they give you like weekly or biweekly payouts as long as you're making over $10 like for that span, and it's just great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen Gumroad used mostly for tutorials, but lately I've seen a lot of comic artists starting to use it. Because like 1 year ago, I'd only see tutorials for illustration or animation, but now it has taken a whole new turn.
Yeah. I know personally my friend Dershing Helmer, she does tutorials, like Skype tutorials with her higher patrons. So she'll go through the whole coloring process with them and show them pages or go through painting and techniques. It's a really great way of taking fans, but not just fans, but other creators and contacting them with other creators and like making this really awesome world of, you know, meshing our art styles or our writing styles together and giving that creativity just a little bit more of a boost.
Does Kyle Webster sell his brushes on Gumroad, or was it another site?
No,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Webster, amazing. He makes so many brushes, brush pack, and it's like so cheap, like $15 for hundreds of brushes. So
do not steal his brushes, people.
Yeah,
Stop
they're
stealing
so-
his goddamn brushes. Buy the damn brushes. If you
Buy them.
a pack of cigarettes, if you buy a cup of coffee, if you buy a piece of gum, I don't give a crap. You save up them damn quarters if you have to, but you buy his damn brush packs and you do not steal them. You do not steal from indie creators. It makes you look like a jackass.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, I suppose it's a big problem indie creators face, which is their projects being stolen and put on torrent sites and on the internet. Yeah.
I have this feeling where if I put it on the internet, I just let it go because there's really no way of stopping certain people from doing what they want to. But I do like to put in little caveats or little messages where it's like, look, if you're going to steal this, at least, you know, pay it forward and go buy something from the other creator that was a part of this project, or buy the book later on or something. Even if you don't have the money right now, I always understand people's money woes or their own struggles that they're going through. But the fact is I had to kickstart this book because I did not just have $22,000 lying around to put a book together. So if you could please support the creators who are part of these books on the side in any way, shape, or form, that's cool. Karma's all good. I hope you don't, you know, get sad about it.
I mean, like, you know, give $1. Every dollar counts. Like, don't ever think that it doesn't count, because it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with that, Dahlia? With your books?
What'd you say?
Have you dealt with it with your books being stolen?
Sorry. Oh, yeah, I haven't. I kind of gave up. It's just too hard to chase. A lot of the takedown stuff is a pain in the butt. I was just like, I can't give them my time on top of everything else they're stealing, you know? Like, they're taking my words already, and that sucks. And they're taking my books for free, and that sucks. But the effort to track them down is like one more thing I'm not giving them. And I just kind of gave up. Thankfully, people are buying also, and it's also like you kind of hope some of it is just like when you write queer books, you know, there are kids who like can't buy them for like discoverability reasons, like can't ask for the credit card, can't bring that home, like You know, it's hard to get upset about
Sure.
the thought of like a kid who needs Under the Lights and can't get it any other way, pirating it. I'm like, I can look the other way for that, you know? So that calmed me down about it a lot. It used to enrage me much more, but I try to imagine it's all going to kids who really need them or something.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything to add? We don't seem to have viewer questions this time. Although we have Lenny Key saying that Under the Gaydar would be a great blog title.
That would actually be really awesome.
So, Dahlia, if you want to get on it.
That's I run a site called LGBT.com, and that's one of the features.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you have the time, tweet it at me, and I will retweet it with the convention.
The site? Okay.
With the convention Twitter page. So.
Okay.
So, does anyone have anything they want to say?
Come to FlameCon. It's next month in the New York area.
I can't go. It's so far away.
Oh, bummer.
I'll also be at FlameCon. What?
Yay! Oh my god.
I'm starting a podcast with Mildred. Ha! Now you can check out Mildred.
Oh my god, there's no turning back now.
Yeah, unfortunately, conventions like this are good for people like me because I live in Europe and we don't have a lot of conventions like that here.
Oh,
Not a
bummer.
lot, really. So, when I want to support artists directly and go visit them at conventions and buy commissions and buy their books directly and talk to them, I only have Twitter. So that's why things like this I think, are a great way to support indie and non-indie creators.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
I was just, Lainey K says, I really hope I can get the group together to go to the convention. So maybe.
Oh, yay, yeah, please come.
Thank you so much, guys, for being here and talking to me and accepting the
you.
invitation.
Yay, thank you.
I will see some of you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and those I don't, I will poke you on Twitter.
Okay.
Still retweet everything you're doing, obviously, and
Yeah.
we look forward to BooksDotCon growing even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I
Greatly.
hope so.
A super fun experience and a great way for people to not only see our mugs aside from conventions, but also gives us a chance to reach out and meet other creators and be like, hey, I like your stuff.
Exactly. Okay, so thank you and goodbye, everyone, and see you
Bye.
on my next interview. Goodbye.
Awesome, thanks, Diana. Bye.